Next up is Shannon DeVito. She's an accomplished actress, comedian, and singer. As a comedian, she's performed stand-up, improv, and sketch around the country and receives rave reviews on her web series, Stare at Shannon. Check her out at shannondevito.com. Over to you, Shannon.
Thanks, Greg.
I don't understand technology. That's why I brought an iPhone on stage. Okay. So hey guys, how's it going? So normally I start out my set by giving everyone my friendship, so that they feel free to laugh at all my disability jokes, because it means they have a disabled friend. Yeah. But you guys all have one, so that didn't really work for me. So anyway, I'm from Philadelphia, and I love coming out to New York. Thank you, one person from Philly. Yes, yeah, cheesesteaks. So I love coming out here because I like riding the subway, because I feel like it's like a Liam Neeson event, because there's like a 50-50 chance that I'm either going to make it to my destination just fine, or get stuck in a subway and find a nice corner because I live there now. I got stuck in a subway once, and because both elevators were broken to get to the street and up to the next platform, and so I was like, all right, well, rats, you're welcome. And so I was living down there, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna have to pee eventually, and I like bathrooms. So I looked across the platform and I saw some cops, and I was like, hey, please come over and help me. And so they came over, and I was explaining my situation, and the lady goes to me, well, clearly I cannot help you. Okay, it's not like I asked you to cure world hunger so that I could walk, right? I'm just asking you to help me get out of here. And so she left, and these other two cops come over, and they're like buddy cops from like a sitcom. And they were like, yeah, we'll help. And so they decided to carry my chair up a flight of steps, and I felt very much like a Mentos commercial. It was great. The Foo Fighters were playing. It was fantastic. And so I got across the platform and went to go down so that I could get back to another accessible station. And I get in the elevator and go about halfway down and stop. Great. So I'm in this glass elevator and immediately become like a MoMA exhibit for all the homeless people. Take that, Tilda Swinton. And so I'm sitting there, and the buddy cops come down the stairs to make sure I got there okay. And they see me and they're like, really? Yep. And so they call the fire department. And the fire department comes, and I kid you not, they come in full gear with an axe. What was the axe for? Was there wood I was unaware of? Like, are they going to axe me out of there? Did they think they were in The Shining? Like, I really don't know what was happening, but that happened. And so finally, they get me out, no axe required, and I went on my way. My favorite part of this whole story, though, is that I was going to work on a job in the show Rescue Me. Because I'm a method actor, guys. Legit. So anyway, I went to college, and I think that we all have those friends that we talk to and they inspire us, but then we also have those friends that kind of live their life like they came in halfway through the conversation, even though they've been there the whole time. Like the friend that gets distracted by anything shiny. I have a friend in to college, and her name was Joni, and Joni was the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my entire life. Like the kind of person that you stand next to and you feel immediately inferior to her, and then she opens her mouth and you go, "You make me feel like a Mensa candidate. Let's hang out." And so Joni and I were hanging out one day, and I had a terrible experience on an airplane, and so I got a free ticket to anywhere in the lower 48 states. And I was explaining this to her, and she says to me, verbatim, "Aren't there 52? Okay. I am concerned, but interested. What? So I asked, what is the 51st? And she goes, Mexico. Okay. No. Mexico is a country, and I know that is confusing because you live next to a landscaping business, but no. I say it is a country. And she goes, she did not. She goes, well, aren't we getting it? Like buying it? Like the Louisiana Purchase? No, Joni, Mexico is not for sale. The Groupon that you got was to visit Mexico, not buy it for $320. To this day, though, I'm not sure if she was confused by the fact that there weren't 52 states, whether Thomas Jefferson wasn't the president, or that she fell asleep with her eyes open. But I was very concerned to ask her what the 51st or 52nd was. But I think that we can all agree it was probably like Hogwarts or the moon. So that would be fun. I can't wait till the moon gets to vote in our next election. Cheese rating. Alright, so anyway, alright, I'm gonna end with this lovely story. So I went to college and then I graduated, and I decided to become an actor because I like to eat regularly, and so I didn't know where to look for jobs when I first got started, and so I decided to look on Craigslist because why not? And I didn't find one, but I did find a very intriguing ad to be a singer in the U.S. Navy, and I was like, yup. I'm doing that. So I called up and I was like, hey guys, how's it going? I'd like to be in the Navy. And they were like, oh, okay, well, we just have to ask you a few questions, you know, height, weight, things like that. And so they did. And then they said, do you take any medications? And I was like, oh yeah, well, I take Nexium for acid reflux. Thanks, Mexican food. And she was like, oh, well, that should be okay. And I'm thinking, if that's not okay, and so she goes, do you have any physical restrictions? Now, in my defense, before I could say anything, she starts into a list. She goes, are you hard of seeing? Are you hard of hearing? Are you missing any limbs? Do you have leprosy? And she doesn't say, are you in a wheelchair? So I was like, nope. It wasn't on the list. Whatever. Don't judge me. Whatever. Okay? So I'm tooling around my house, super psyched, thinking about how adorable I'm going to look in that little Navy uniform. Kind of like an American Girl doll, only, you know, after the war. And so apparently, though, I have a conscience. I didn't. And it was like, hey, Shannon, you know, probably shouldn't have lied to the U.S. military. And I was like, screw you, conscience, fine. So I called him back and I was like, hey guys, how's it going? Just talked to you. And turns out I may have a physical restriction. And she was like, well, what is it? And I was like, well, I use a wheelchair. And she was like, well, for how long? And I was like, well, I'm not a doctor or Jesus, so it could go away tomorrow. I don't know. But probably forever. And she's like, well then you can't be in the Navy. How do you expect to get on a submarine? And I was like, whoa, 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 let me stop you there. You're telling me all those really hot Navy guys just standing around can't just carry me onto the ship? Onto the ship? I mean, you do what you gotta do, right? Right? Am I right? Nope, I was not right. And so I was not allowed to be in the Navy. I found out later, though, that you have to go to boot camp in order to be in the Navy band, which I thought was very strange. Then I started thinking about me in boot camp and how awesome it would be. I would show up with my like Diet Pepsi and funny T-shirt that has a cookie high-fiving the milk. And then, you know, we'd go on our 1,000,000-mile runs, and I'd be running next to them, playing Candy Crush on my phone. It'd be like real life, only, you know, with worse health benefits. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Shannon DeVito. Let's give it up one more time for all of our performances tonight. They're all around, bring them out. Anita Holder, I see you sneaking by. David Harrell, you're around. One more bow. Pat and Mary. And Shannon. Shannon DeVito. One more time. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at other events. And have a good night.